Welcome back to Morning Break and this month's Good Biz segment with Lindsay Bradley, the owner of Guided Arrows. And today we are talking about a good management practice that I personally have never heard of. It's called stay interviews, and it's kind of the opposite of exit interviews, which people are probably familiar with.
Absolutely. So what's really great about this is we get so caught up in, okay, somebody left and then we're trying to get information, but they're usually not going to be very honest because they've already decided to move on. So instead of waiting until people are walking out the door, a stay interview allows you to get re-engaged with your employee and make sure that they're going to be a part of your company long term.
Yes, and retention of good employees is what every business wants, right? You don't want to see your good employees leaving, and oftentimes you don't know why they're leaving. You haven't given them the opportunity to say what's going on, in whether it's in their personal life or whether it is something in the business that they are unhappy with. And a lot of managers will say, we have an open door policy here, but I think we've all worked in a business where, like, they say that, but is it actually true? The stay interviews invites people through the door.
Exactly, and I think it's that opportunity to stay engaged with your team and not wait for something to go wrong before you're kind of checking in with them and saying, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? How do we make sure that you're not leaving? Retention is a huge thing. Like if you have turnover, you're replacing 30 to 200% of that salary that you're trying to replace when you have turnover. So taking 30 minutes to have a conversation, it's going to save you a lot of money.
And I think a lot of people, when they get called into the boss's office, though, even if it's just for a conversation, there is that intimidation that, like, wait, is this a performance review? And now they're on edge. So what, as a manager, can you do to really make sure that they're put at ease? They know it's not a performance review. And I think a lot of it's going to come to the specific questions that you ask.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of, you're talking about the future and you're making it about them. And so you're not going in talking about yesterday and the metrics and what did you work on today? What did you get done? It's about, how are you feeling about the work that you're doing? How do you feel about the culture that we're providing for you? And do you see a future with our company? And so kind of shifting that mindset of, what have you done? What are you doing to create value here? But it's about asking them what it is that they want.
Okay, now is there a specific question that you really love to ask employees that you think managers should all jump in on?
I do. So one of my favorite questions to ask in a stay interview is, what skills or talents are we not currently utilizing?
Oh,
because what I have found when I've asked that before is, I had an open role in a position, like in a company, and I asked that question, and this person had the exact skills that I needed for that role.
Really?
And they were ready to move on from what they were doing. They're really great in their current role, but I'm like, I can actually elevate this person into a new role. They were excited. They're now with the company even longer. And so asking that one question, it's one of my favorite ones to ask.
Yeah, and it also probably sets up because, as a manager, you're often stuck in your office, right? And you don't know everyone on the floors, maybe their interests, their skills, their talents. I can see it too as being a way of like, hey, did you know that this person has expressed interest in this? Did you know that in their free time, they do this just for fun? And I think that that would be a valuable skill that we could maybe utilize if they're interested. And it's a way too to just kind of hype up your own coworkers.
Yeah, I think it's just really important to let you lean into that process with your employees and find out what's important to them. Find out what their growth strategy is. Do they want to stay there long term? And what can you do as a manager or the owner to support them in that? And so taking the time to be intentional to ask and not just waiting, like I said, until some recruiter comes along and says, hey, I want this person, they're going to be out the door. And so again, just taking that time to sit down with them and know that, having them know that you care about them. Absolutely.
One of the other conversations that you and I have had here on this show talked about constructive feedback and timing being very, very important. And I feel like timing is going to be important for this conversation as well with these stay interviews. What do you recommend?
Yeah, so really it depends. What I like to do is you kind of use milestones. So number one, if somebody is new in the role, so the first 90 days, after that 90 days, make sure that you're checking in. How are you integrating into the culture? What do you think about the company? Is the job what you thought it was going to be? What obstacles or challenges are you having? Are they systemic? Is there something that we can do to change your experience? So 90-day mark, a year, maybe 6 months, every 6 months to a year, or if you've just put them into a new position or a new role, being able to check in with them after they've kind of adapted to that new role to make sure, Did you put them in the right place? Do they have the skills and learning, and have you set them up for success?
Oh, I love that idea. Setting people up for success is huge, because when they do feel like they were thrown into a role unprepared and unsupported, that is the first sign that they are not going to stick around.
That's exactly right. And that's when they start to say, "Ooh, I don't know if this is the place for me." And they might say, "I'm uncomfortable, so I'm going to go find something that makes me feel more comfortable." And that could mean leaving your company. And so again, not waiting until someone is leaving, giving their resignation. This is a great way to keep those great employees, those high performers that you have, if you just take the time to do it.
Absolutely. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much.
you.
All of this is great advice, and this is advice that she offers to all of her clients at Guided Arrows. So I will make sure that Guided Arrows information is on our website, colatv.com, after the show, so you guys can go ahead and check it out and learn more from Lindsay. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be right back.